Today's supply list. We have our canvas, our yellow, red, blue, black, and white acrylic paint, our cup of water, our brushes, a large flat brush, a medium brush, and a small brush. Optional equipment is a pencil and an extra cup of water. So let's get started. So to start, I took some yellow paint and some white paint and put on my palette. Then what I did was I drew some yellow down, and I grabbed some white, and I'm blending it together. I know I started to blend a little bit before you got here, but we're all on the same page now. Okay, so with my medium brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a potato. Okay, an oval. That's going to be our face. And you can go straight across or maybe put on a little bit of an angle. And I'm just going to come across. Oops, I missed you there. Let me just put that back in the slot. Come across. And there's your potato. So from our potato, still going back and getting a little bit more of that paint. Our neck is gonna, well, you know, let me do the top here so I don't have to move that yet. So what we're going to do from the inside, we're gonna come in a little bit on each side, and we're going to make an upside down U. So not at the very end, but just coming in a little bit. We're gonna go up and back down, okay? From there, we have these two little, I'm gonna find out what these are actually called. These little like nubby things up here. So we do one there, and then it has like a little ball on the top. Then we're gonna do one over here. Almost looks like they're aliens, or as we used to call them, Martians. And again, another little nubby thing on the top. Okay. Well, we still need to have ears, right? So I'm gonna get some more paint off my palette, load up my brush. And our little ears are almost like little leaves, okay? Think of them as a little leaf coming off the side. So it goes like that, like that. And then a little leaf over here, like that. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to add our neck. And like I said, I didn't want to do the neck because I have to lift it up. Okay, so I can show you. And I want my guy to be coming off the side, like he's like, you know, how he's coming from behind a door and peeking in. So instead of having my neck come straight down, I'm gonna have my neck, I'm trying to just level this, okay? Coming off to the side. Okay? And that's how we're gonna start. I decided I really like this yellow, like for an outline and maybe to start our background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my regular yellow straight out of the cup. And with the same medium brush, I'm going to come around it. It's going to be a little bit darker, okay? But I'm just going to follow these lines. And this is going to be the beginning of my background. Because, you know, a lot of my students are getting older and they need a little bit more challenge than me pre-drawing it. You know, I don't do that if I don't have to. I just want to give you a good start. So I'm loving this yellow, and I'm just going to follow around. And of course, it won't go across there because it's not the outside. Must have had a little dark on my brush. Let me just wash that out, okay? Really important to wash out your brush well so that you don't end up with other colors on your canvas. Okay, I'll do this here. I'm trying to keep it the same width all the way around, and I'll show you why in a minute. And I'm coming off of the ear. Love the ear. Coming up here, off our little nubby thing. I gotta find that out. Again, I'm sorry I'm in front of you, but you'd be surprised. It's not easy painting sideways. I need to be off to the side so that you can see. But I'm learning, I'm getting better at it, okay? Now, because this is dry, I can put my hand down and come across it that way. See, on the top. Grabbing some more paint, loading up my brush. Coming up here. And you see how I'm not using the front of my brush? I'm really using the side of it. Because if I use the front, and I'll show you, you get a line like that. I want it flat and around. Okay, so we're really just getting our background. Well, part of our background, because this is a fun giraffe. And we're going to give him a really cool place to live. I like to say when we're painting, we're not only painting just the object, we're painting its surroundings. And you know, if we paint something with the face, we have to give it a backstory. What does that mean? It means you have to tell me a name. What's the name of your giraffe? Where does it live? Does it have siblings? Does it work outside the home? Create a whole story. And I always say start with the name. The name is the easiest way to start. Okay, so I kind of like that, and I had a little black on my brush, so I'm going to go back there and clean that up a bit. That's one of our outside lines. And I think I may go around it again, okay, and make it a little wider this time. So again, coming from the side, making it wider. Okay. This is fun. This is an abstract giraffe. So it's got a lot of fun going on in it, but yet we still know it's a giraffe. Think of it as if Picasso decided he was going to paint a giraffe. I should be so lucky, right? If you don't know who Picasso is, I suggest you Google it. Or Google him, I should say. And that would be Pablo Picasso, not Paloma, who is his daughter and in her own right an artist. And Paloma is Spanish for, does anybody know? It's Spanish for dove. I like to give you some trivia when we do our paintings. Okay. See, I like that now. It's a lot wider. A lot more interest there, if you ask me. Cool, right? I think so. Okay, so I'm going to dry up a little bit and we're going to move on to our next step. So I've decided I want the inside, at least the base of it, because we're going to do a few layers, to be a light yellow. Similar to what we have here, which gave us our outline, which now we have a bolder outline. So in doing that, I just took a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, and I'm going to blend that together. Okay. And it's not making a brand new color. There's still some sections that are a lot lighter, a lot darker. This is a fair size, so let me just make some more. Okay, and it's okay if you don't make it enough at the first time, because this is going to get really fun in a little bit, okay? When we start adding other colors. Okay, so let me just get a wee bit more of that. Okay. Take some yellow. And you see how I don't necessarily work out of the paint pots. I like to put it on my plate with a popsicle stick, or craft stick as they're known. Unless I'm going, like with this, I use directly out of the pot because I didn't need to blend it with anything, okay? So I'm just going to add that in there. Now notice, I'm not creating a brand new color. You can still see some of the white, still see some of the yellow. You see different colors on the brush. And we're gonna go in there and paint it in. One of the benefits of having it been the same color as the outside is that if it goes over, it's okay. It's just another layer of interest where it's a different shade, okay? I'm putting it down here all the way to the bottom. Now remember, when you're painting, we paint the bottom as well. Okay? So I got that down there. If you want to give that a second to dry, that's okay. Let's paint upside down. It's the fun of art. Let's do things differently. Going in there, grabbing some of that paint. Remember, not all blended together, okay? And I like staying in that motion though. Even though we're doing the same color, rather than do straight, I want to stay in that circular motion, because sometimes the lines show up of the way you were painting. And I want it to be that circular, okay? And again, by already having painted the outline, we know where the top starts and the bottom stops. Okay. Grab some more paint, come in here. Such a bright, pretty color. I like to paint this kind of stuff maybe when it's not so bright outside. Makes it a little bit cheery in here. And I like yellow. I'm gonna come here and do our ears, of course. Our little nubby things. Meet up with that. Okay. I think we're dry up there, so I'm gonna turn it right side up. A little love there. Okay. This is fun. And you know what? If we did nothing else, we would still know that that is a giraffe. So let me just rinse out my brush. Actually, it was a little bit off. Rinse out my brush and we'll move forward. I just grabbed a little bit of red paint that's next to my yellow and white. And why? Because I want to make a little orange. And we know that if we mix red and yellow together, we get orange. We add a little white, we get a lighter orange. So I'm going to take some of this red here and some of this color that already has yellow and white in it, and I'm just going to blend that a little bit until I get a pretty little orange or a peachy color. Now we know I have yellow in there and I have white in there. It needs a little bit more red, I'm thinking. And you notice how I always take from the side of the color, never right into it. We don't want to ruin it, okay? And this is kind of going to be my, how I tell where my nose is, okay? Or my snout, or the face of our giraffe. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming over here where we knew that line was, right? And we still kind of can see that line, but we know that's where the curve is. And I'm going to meet up with that and come across, okay? And then I think I'm just going to blend it in, because I kind of like this color here. And this is my medium-sized brush. Remember, we're just playing today. It's a good project. And you see how it's getting a little dry, so it's not covering enough? That's okay. So I can still move it around. And if it doesn't cover 100%, that's okay, because again, this is an abstract giraffe. And we're not looking for it to be exact, you know? But I just wanted to get this to be, that's where we know our nose is. And we're gonna outline it later. Have a good time with that too. But you see I'm letting this dry brush effect. What's a dry brush effect? Is when you have paint on it, but the paint starts to wear away. So even though I'm going over and over, it's not really leaving anything on the canvas. And that's okay. I like that guy, okay? Now, maybe I'm going to, let me think. Maybe I'm going to take some of that red that I have over here and mix it in with that, make it a little bit darker. Okay, almost like a pink. And we know that on our giraffes that they have this, they have some like spotting, but it's almost like a square spot. So maybe this is one of them down here. It doesn't have to be a perfect square. Okay, there we go. And maybe there's another one over here coming off this side. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. I know it's hard to see underneath here, so I'm just gonna come over here. And again, guys, you know what? This is my choice of a color. You can put whatever color you want. And we'll go over, you know, what colors make what colors, or I will have done that in the beginning of this video. Okay. Oh, loving that. Maybe a little bit more, just because like I said, I still like that. How about maybe if that's part of one of these circles up here? Not both, but just one. Or do you want to be part of it? Oh, I'll make it part of this one too. Maybe not the whole thing. Or I'll make it the whole thing and then I'll paint over it, because that's always an option. And acrylics dry really fast, which is another plus. So like, look, I can put my hands on this. I never really should do this, but I know that was dry. But you can go like this to see if things are 100% dry. Okay, so now got that red going. I think I want to do a little bit of purple. So again, taking that red, and what color shall I add? Anybody know? If you said blue, you are correct. And I'm just going to add some of that to that color. Get this really cool blue. Now, if you want it to be a little lighter, we'd add a little bit of white. But I think we're going to do some highlighting. You know, you guys you're getting older and you need to do some more advanced stuff. So I think on this blue, I may just, I don't know, do some part of this spot here. Part of that ear or nubby thing. I'll put that up in there. Okay, kind of cool. See how it's not 100% blended? And I think maybe it's going to be part of the ear too. Just flare it out. While I have this color out, what else should I do with it? Yep, I think so. I think we're going to have another one of these spotty things. Very technical class, just so you know. We call things spotty things. And again, if it doesn't fill in completely, you see I'm not trying. I'm just going to let it sit there and be like that. That dry brush where you can still see through the bottom. So let me get the next color ready to go. And we will decide what that's going to be. How about a little, maybe a turquoise or a green? So I'm going to wash my brush. And does anybody know what colors we're going to use to make green? Well, yes, if you said blue and yellow, that would be correct. Put some blue over here. Have a little bit of yellow. See how I come from the sides? And how dark you make it depends on how much blue you add to it. If you want it lighter or not such a deep green, you would add more yellow. And if you want it to be muted, you can add a little bit of white. But I like that so far. So I'm going to come over here and maybe it's going to be part of this ear here. Make it some green. And again, guys, it's whatever colors you want it to be. Maybe I'm going to have a little bit of green in here. How about that? How about these little things that come straight down? Make that a little green. Well, I know it doesn't look like much yet, but wait. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, so we have some of that green. And now let me add a little bit of white to it and see what the next color is that we get. What'd I say? Almost like a mint green. Okay. And maybe that'll be over here for this nubby thing. Fun, fun. Okay. Where else should we put this little guy? Let me see. How's about, does it need another square down here? I think so. And you see I'm not making it a perfect square. I'm going to go sideways this way. How neat is that? I know, doesn't look like much yet, but it will in a second. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to that green and see what color we get. How about another one right here? Oh, look at that. Isn't it fun that we're doing all of this with just the primary colors in black and white? That's kind of neat. Maybe a stripe here in the middle. Again, guys, this is abstract. It's never going to be, no art is wrong. You know me, I always tell you no art is wrong. Just fun kind of stuff going on. I like that green. Maybe I'll put some at the top of the ear. What do you think? And I think what I'll do is I'll make the whole ear that color. And this way, while it's wet, I'll grab some just straight blue. Just a little, just that much, such a tiny amount. And I'll come in here and go over the top of it. And I'll drag it through. And you see how I'm dragging it through? It kind of doesn't blend. It doesn't cover. It changes the color because that was still wet in the beginning. Look at that. Similar to what we did up here with the purple and the pink. Oh, this is getting even better. It's getting even more fun. Okay, one more color. One more color. I don't know what it should be. We got purple, we got pink, we've got green, we've got, how about straight up blue? How about just not blended with anything? Well, maybe with a little bit of white. Maybe we'll add a little white to it. But I think just plain blue would be nice. So let me just grab some, look, I'm just gonna grab some plain blue. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna give it a square down here. And you see I'm just curving it. Why? Why not? Abstract. Abstract is all about living outside of what is expected. You know, we expect to see a giraffe and we know that basic giraffe we see, but this is different. This is a giraffe with some flair, if you ask me. And again, you can have as many of those in there as you like. I'm gonna leave that there. Still, you can still see through the color, perfectly okay. This purple didn't cover, perfectly okay. So I'm gonna rinse out my brush, because now we're gonna add a few other little things to make it even look more realistic. So let me just, like I said, it's always good to clean out your brushes. You always wanna wash them out, and you wanna lay them on a napkin to dry, or a paper towel to dry. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is it's time to decide where our nose and our eyes are going to go. Okay, so I think, you know, right here is where our nose is going to go, and I'm going to just put a dab of red there, right, and another dab of red over here. That's just so I know my placement. Okay, and then I'm going to go in. I'm still using my medium-sized brush. And this is, I'm checking for dry. I don't need to go there. It's dry because I touched it. I had an idea. I mean, you're not gonna put the paint down and then automatically put your hand over it, because we know it's not dry. But given a few seconds, we get the gist that it's ready to roll. Okay, so I'm gonna just in here, and you're making a jelly bean basically to create the nose. Get a little bit more red. And see, I can still see through it. I don't necessarily want to see through this one, but I have to do a few layers. So while this is drying, I'm going to come over to this one. And again, that jelly bean. It's almost like an upside down jelly bean, or a kidney bean, or I like a jelly bean better, I'm not going to lie. I like kidney beans too, though. Okay. Looking good. Now, since that first one wasn't completely the way I wanted it, this is going to dry, and I'm coming back over here. And you see how it covers over a little bit better now? Perfect. That makes me happy. So I'm going to go over here and do this one now, because that's a little bit drier. I get that nice look that I'm searching for. Okay. So I'm going to decide now what we're going to do. Next thing is, while I have some red on my brush, I think I'm going to do a circle up in here. Or it could be a circle, it could be a square, but I'm just going to put a little, because I could. And you see how I lifted it up and it didn't stay? That's fine. I think while I have red on my brush, I may come down here and add some red on here, just like that. Again, another layer of interest without covering over the whole thing. While I have red out, I'm going to do some purple, I think. Sorry, the red over the purple. And now where it missed, where it didn't cover completely, now there's a deeper sense of the red in there. I'll do some more down here. Again, it doesn't have to be red. It can be whatever color you want, because these are just the colors I'm choosing. This is your painting. You make it however you want to make it. But you see how now we're getting some layers going on there? I like the pink. I don't know. I just like the red for the layers. Go figure. Where else can we put it? I mean, I've got it here. How about the top of the blue? I'm not going to do too much of that, because then it looks too much like the purple above, but a little bit. Just drag it across in that dry brush technique we're talking about. Okay, now I believe my nose is really, really dry, so I'm going to go back and add just a little bit more. Get a little bit more depth to it. Cute. And again, I know down here is wet right now, so I can actually, if I want to, adjust the painting so that it's not in my way if I want to continue on. Okay, back where we had it, make sure you can see it. So I'm enjoying where he's going now. So I think the next step we're going to do is add some more layering of colors at the top, but don't necessarily want it to be the red. So what am I going to do? As you can hear, I'm washing out my brush. I'm drying it off on a piece of paper towel. I'm not mashing the bristles. You know, these are your tools. You want to be nice to your tools so they'll be nice to you. Okay? Next thing is we're going to decide where our eyes are going to be. And what I'm going to do for our eyes is a little unconventional, but hey, that's okay. I know up here is dry, and I can go right out of the pot, or if I have some clean white on my plate, I can take that. Still with my medium-sized brush, I'm loading it up. I'm going to start over here and then come over here. I'm just going to make another jelly bean, but my jelly bean this time is north to south, like that instead of sideways. East to west, north to south. I'm going to make another one over here. So I figure out where the center of my nose is, and then I decide where my eyes are going to be. So if the center of my nose is here, I go this side a half an inch, that side a half an inch, or an inch. I just try to make it even. But again, it's abstract. It doesn't have to be even. Okay. How are we doing, guys? Looking good? I think it looks like he's looking at you now, which I love. So right now I'm going to, while I have the white out, why not, right? Maybe add, I know all of these are dry, so maybe just a little, how about a squiggle like that? Or a straight up and down line there. Or how about just some strange abstract ears, just some lines. You see them not making any sense. It's just going there. Because again, we're adding another layer of interest. There we go. I love that it has all these interesting things to look at. You may do all circles, you may do all lines, you may do a mix. Again, whose painting is it? That's right, it's yours. I'm gonna add some up here. Maybe that's fun. And maybe come this way. I want to keep the idea of an ear, so maybe I'll just do like, now it looks like a leaf. Do some sideways stuff over here. And look, again, that dry brush is where you don't see all the way through. That's fine. It could be a sharp, super easy. Maybe I'll take some white and I'm just gonna come over here and just go back and forth where that orange met the yellow. Maybe a bunch of it. Look at that. Again, it's a dry brush. You don't want a dry brush? Don't use a dry brush. Add some more color to it, by all means. But just remember, don't overdo anything, because then we won't know that it's a giraffe. It's a fine line to decide where to stop. I know. Okay, now what shall we do? What shall we do? How about we put maybe some of this white and go around the nose, all the way around. Just because. Now, another way to do this is if I thought about it ahead of time, but you know, sometimes this feeling doesn't strike you right away, is I could have done all white and then gone back and add red. But that's okay. And I'm going to show you how that happens, because that's what I'm going to do with our eyes. Okay, let me just wash up my brush. As always, we like to make sure our tools are clean, especially when we're going to change our colors. And I like to have 2 cups of water, only so I don't have to get up and change it. But that's just me. So if you guys have a lot of color going on in your water, you can change it. I'll wait. And then we'll get to the next spot. The great thing about doing a video is you can pause it while you go ahead and get your water changed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the eyes inside the eyes. Again, still with my medium-sized brush. I had a little purple left over, which is just what? Yellow and blue, right? Or you can use black, or you can use red or green, whatever you want. But I've got some of this purple, so I'm going to use it. And I'm just going to go into the center of this jelly bean and make a line. See? Just a line. Then I'm going to come and load up my brush again. And I'm going to come off of that line and make it just a little wider. Okay? Not covering the whole white jelly bean. I'm leaving a rim around it. Okay? I know that's going to dry. I'm going to go to the other side. Again, like I said, if you need to, move your canvas. And I know I did this up here. Now I'm going to do it down here. Okay, now he's looking at you. Now he wants to know who you are, what's your name, where you're from, because now he can see you. I'm just gonna come over here and just add a little bit more of that. He is adorable. I think so. You think so? Me too. Okay, so next, what should we do? How about we do some outline? You think you'd like to do an outline? I think so. I think that would really, really set the stage for when we're almost done, okay? So I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to wash it out really well so that when you wipe it onto your paper towel, it doesn't show a color, it just shows water, okay? So having done that now, I'm going to take my super skinny little thin brush that I have, small brush that we have, and I'm going to grab my pot of black. If you have black on your plate, by all means use that. Don't need to waste any, but I have this available and I don't have any more black out there on my palette. So I'm gonna go straight from here. I'm also gonna work from the top down. Again, that same reason, because you don't want to drag your arm. With the black, I'm just going to take a little at a time. I'd rather have a little at a time than too much. And we want to start at the top. So I decided I would like to outline around where the giraffe really is. Remember, we have that yellow outside, but that's not really our giraffe. That is just a nice border around her or him, okay? So I'm gonna come up here and I can lean on, let me lean on here. Or let me just come up the side. And if it doesn't go all the way to your color, that's okay. If you feel it might be easier, we can turn it upside down. It's your choice. And if we're going to do that, then I can come further down here and start. So I'm going to come over here at the outside of where my color is and my dark yellow, okay? Because remember, that's where we had our line originally when we first started, as to where our little giraffe was. If the whole color doesn't cover, that's fine. If it's only a partial line, like a perforated line, you can do that too. Whose painting is this? That's right, it's yours. And then I can bring it up a little bit. Nice. Nice, as we say. I think I may go around this guy. Oops, sorry. I may go around him. See how it doesn't actually match up and it's a little wider and it's a little thinner? Yeah, because why not? Do a little bit more here. You can still see the yellow. I love this part. This is where it really comes to life. And I know those little spots are open. That's good. I like that. Now, some people that will drive them crazy. Me, not so much. I used to, because I was like, oh, it's not perfect. It needs to be connected. And see down there, I even left the yellow open. So, okay. Coming over here. Love it. Why do I love it? Because it doesn't matter if it's an open line like that. You bring it closer. You see how that line is still, gotta find the camera, that dry brush, perfectly okay. So my friend Elizabeth asked to do this painting, and that's why we're working on it. And I'm so happy she chose it because I really like it. Again, working sideways, whatever works for you. I'm gonna come in here. Okay. And I think it really adds to the fact that it shows you it doesn't have to be the same as mine. Everybody's going to be different, especially on an abstract, because you can choose your own colors. You can choose where you put things. You don't have to put them where I put them. You can put them anywhere you want, okay? And you see how I'm actually changing the shape by where I'm putting the black line. So whereas those were much more square, now it's not so much. And I'm gonna come over here. You see again, broken line there. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Now, coming this way, we know that our mouth is over here, or where our face starts, I should say. And again, I'm staying within the lines of that dark yellow, okay? Wait till we do the last step. Then it's gonna pop, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I gotta say, this may be one of my favorites. I've painted lots and lots and lots of paintings, but I'm really enjoying this. Yep, coming to life. I'll keep turning and turning. So I'm gonna bring it over here. Match it up to over here. And see, again, it's an open line. It's a dry brush there. That's okay. Come up here. Oh, I had a line there, but that's okay. I want to go over it again. When you go around, though, you have to stop and think, did I miss anywhere? So like I just missed here. So I'll go back. What do you think, guys? So far, so good. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do is, I know in here is dry, and I know I could put my pinky here. Again, I'm going to check down here. Yep, that's dry. You know, actually, it's still a little tacky, so I'm going to wait, but I'll get there soon. And then I'm going to continue on to here. And again, I like the fact that it's a little bit broken here and there. It's kind of cool. I'm going to go around, upside down it again, right? And this may still be a little bit tacky as well, so I'm not going to lean my hands on it, but I'm still going to paint it. So I can come over here. I have a bigger hand. Okay. And maybe over here around this one. I think for that one, I do want it to be closed. It doesn't have to be, but I think I do want it just for effect. I think if it's fully painted in, it might give a more perfect effect. Sharper effect, I should say. Oh yeah, coming along. All right, so got a few more of these and then we can get to the background, and then my loves, we are done. Okay, so coming over here, I'm gonna go sideways. I'm gonna come up to this top one. Let me see. Yep, it's dry now. So I'm gonna come up here first, and I'm coming across this line here. Just in case you can't see my hand, the line, because my hand is in the way. And again, I'm leaning on it a little bit. Not touching the red or the white there, but I am leaning on it. And I know some of you are doing this on a flat table, which makes it so much easier. Okay. So what do you think? Yeah, me too. I think on a line up here, I want it to be not open. I don't want dry brush up there. And again, you may want it to be completely closed. You may not want any of this dry brush look, and that's fine. Okay, by all means. So where else do we still have to put a line around? Anybody want to tell me? Correct, we have to go around the nose. So we're going to take the paint and we're going to go around the nose. You see, it's not a perfect line. I love that. This is part of abstract. Get that. Now, sometimes I make a mistake. Yes, I make mistakes. I think we all need to admit when we make a mistake. So where I put my pinky, it wasn't necessarily dry, and therefore I brought some black over into the yellow. How do I fix that? Technically, I don't have to because it's abstract, but I want to, and I want you to see, first of all, yes, I do make mistakes, and I've been doing this for many, many years, okay? But there's always a way to fix it or make it part of the dance, you know? Make it part of the overall finish that way. I wanted it to be that way. And technically, when we do our background, I could have left it that way, but I'm not. So what am I gonna do? I take a little bit of white and go over this yellow here, okay? You're like, why not yellow? Well, because the yellow might not have covered it. So I'm just gonna paint it white. Then I'm gonna come back later and put yellow on there, okay? See, so there's always ways to make things work. What else do you think we need here? I think maybe we need a little bit more white over in here. Just like a, why not, right? Just some lines of white. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. If we need a little in here. Just some lines. Again, what are we doing? Adding a little bit more interest. Is it changing our painting? Not very much. It's just, again, like I said, giving some interest. I wouldn't suggest to do this with a very dark color because you might not like the, at least if you don't like the white, you can always go over it with the color that you just, you know, put it on. Okay. I think I need more white in here. Just why? Just because. This is one of those just because paintings. Okay? So I kind of like what we're going on here. And one last thing, how about some sparkle in that eye? How about a little bit of a line in there? Okay, just a little sparkle. So I'm loving him. I'm going to check over here. Yep, my white is pretty dry. So I'm going to rinse out my brush once again. We rinse out the brush when we're changing colors that are drastic. If I'm going from orange to red, I don't really change it out. I just wipe it off a little bit and then I'm good to go. But since I have that little bit of where I had the black, I put some yellow. I'm sorry, I put some white. I'm going to go over it with some yellow now. Voila, as they say. And there's some few other things I don't necessarily like. So I don't like this little piece here. I can change that. Again, you can go back and do what you want with it. Just where you need to. So now, basically we're done. I'm going to show you now what our background is going to be. And this part is really where you get to shine. You can make the background any color you'd like. Personally, I want the black in there to pop. So I'm gonna make my background black. You can make yours blue, green, red, whatever. You can make it yellow. If you want the whole thing to be yellow, why not make it yellow? So right now, I'm going to grab my widest brush, my big brush. And like I tell everyone, I don't say I'm using my Filbert number 8 or, you know, my 1/2 inch wide, because I know everyone is using a different size brush. I don't want you to get caught up in that section where you're worrying about, am I using the right brush? I want you to get that paint on the canvas, have a good time. That's what I want. Those are my goals. So since I'm using straight up black, if you want, again, whatever colors you want, I'm going to use my wide brush and I'm going to start by going around where I have the yellow, doing the same process. So you see that little bit of black that I left there? Hold on, I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna show ya. That little bit of black that I left there, doesn't matter because I'm putting black over it, okay? And I may do my painting in sides. Again, starting from the top, okay? And I don't want any dry brush effect on this. I really want it to be a solid black, so that's what I'm doing. If you want to have a dry brush effect, by all means, it's your painting, okay? So I'm just following where we had our initial outline. And the great thing about it is that you can really make it part of the, you can really make it where it meets up, because you can go over the line. Let me show you, okay? So when I'm doing this, I don't want it to have a line between it, between the colors. So I'm actually, I gotta find the camera. I'm taking my paint and I'm going over the yellow. By doing that a little bit, doesn't have to be terribly, you know, don't cover too much. But by doing that, it looks like you did the background first, which is a nice finished look, okay? So I'm gonna pull that out. And then I'm gonna keep going. If you need to switch to a smaller brush just for the outlining part, because like in here it gets very tight, by all means do that. I'm gonna leave that open so that I can show you how to do that after I get this part done. So I'm gonna come around. And see, I'm using I use my pinky a lot for leverage, okay? Just to help steady my hand. because you get a better, better stroke of paint when you have some leverage there. Again, these are all learned little secrets that you'll find out as you go. You'll just automatically do them. But of course, you have to make sure you've done in sections, because if this was painting and I put my hand down, we don't want that. We want to make sure where we're putting it is going to be dry, okay? And I'll show you. So instead of just going like this with the front of your brush, I'm taking my brush, I'm laying it down and I'm dragging. This way I get the widest possible coverage with that. So I'm gonna come down here to the bottom and finish that part. Okay. Just covering. Now I'm going quickly, but now I want you to pay attention. Don't go crazy, because if you go crazy, you might end up ruining your giraffe. There we go. Okay. Compared to the sides. Now I'm using the tip of my brush only because I want to get into that tight spot. That's why I'm using the tip of it. Same here again. Okay, now I may go back there and fix that. I'm not sure if I like that bleeding in there, but again, I want to show you, if these things happen, how to fix them, okay? Now when you get on the outside here, you can go a little bit quicker. And now again, I'll use the widest part because I've already got close to my giraffe. Have you guys thought about a name yet? It's almost done. Once it's done, it needs a name. I mean, when you guys were born, I'm sure mom and dad, well, not always, but I'm sure mom and dad had kind of an idea of what your name was going to be. Mom, dad, and dad. Okay. I think this guy's going to go really well in your family. We all have different kinds of families. I love that. That's what makes us unique. Okay. Almost done. And this one is okay if you go sideways and up and down because you really can't see the strokes unless you put on too much paint. I caution you not to use tons and tons of paint because then it gets a gloppy effect and it's never going to dry. So it's almost like we can do this. Okay, so I'm getting up here. Don't forget to do your sides, your top and your bottom. Whatever color you decide to do. And again, you have it laying down on a piece of plastic or paper, what have you. If you want to wait till your front is dry and then do your sides, you can do that too. Plastic is super simple. Or you can do your sides, just don't do it very, very close to the back. But then when it's dries, you can do that section there. Okay, look at them. Actually, you know what? I can even leave it like that. How cool, but you know what? I don't know. I think that's pretty sweet too. Maybe my next one I'll do like that because I really like that effect. That, you know, half black, half white. A harlequin effect, we would call it. Okay. Harlequin was kind of a clown, a jester. Again, I hope you're writing these words down that I'm giving you. If you don't know them, look them up. Remember how I said I'm using that side because I have to get into those tight corners? Okay. Sometimes I just take the excess paint off like this, just so I can, when I pick it up, it's nice and clean. Again, because I had the amount of paint I had on there, it left like a little puddle, and I don't want puddles because, again, it won't dry. I think it looks really sharp. Again, that contrast. Contrast is two colors that meet up, and they're so opposite that they make each other pop. Make sure you guys check out, I have a video about blending colors, which is fun. And they have a thing that you can buy. It's called a color wheel. Or I'm sure you could download one off of the internet. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Almost done. Yay. I love him. Mine's a him. I decided that. I've even got a name. Hope you guys have your names ready. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure in the comments you drop what your names your guys. And I think there may even be a spot that you can add a photo of your finished product. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not that YouTube savvy, to be honest, but I'm trying. Okay. I know, it gets so quiet, right? And you know what? You can always do a few of these if you like. Create a series, as we say. And you could do a series, all the same painting in different colors and different shades. Okay? So remember I said there were some spots I wasn't fussy with the way it was landing. So I put it back and I took my tiny brush. Where's my tiny brush? Here's my tiny brush. And I'm just gonna grab some black. And again, I have to be careful where I put my fingers, but I'm gonna come down here. Oh, and then I moved it. Because I wanted to be closer, more fluid. Nice. Where else? Oh, it goes over here. Now this side it's still tacky, so I'm going to come on the outside. But I'm going to make sure it's not going to move on me. See how it can move? Make sure it's not going to move. Okay. And this is where you go back and what we call finessing it. You just find out if there's anything you want to add to it, take away. Well, I should say add, really. Taking away, you have to just paint over it. But it's always a possibility. But again, I think it's looking swell, which is a slang word. Oh. We didn't speak slang in our house. Okay, what do you think, guys? I think he's done. Okay? I hope you enjoyed doing this one.